The Satanic Panic, a hysterical misadventure. The Satanic Panic of the 1980s and 1990s stands as a stark example of how fear and misinformation can spiral out of control. During this period, a wave of moral outrage swept across the United States and beyond, fueled by claims of widespread satanic ritual abuse, child sacrifice, and secret cabals operating in the shadows. Evangelical Christians, therapists, and elements of law enforcement latched onto anecdotal recovered memories from patients, often coerced or fabricated, asserting that Satanists were orchestrating a hidden epidemic of evil. Popular culture, including heavy metal music, Dungeons, Dragons, and horror films, was scapegoated as evidence of satanic influence corrupting the youth. Investigations, such as those into the McMartin preschool case, ultimately found no credible evidence of organized satanic conspiracies. The panic subsided, but not before ruining lives through false accusations and imprisonments. This episode revealed less about Satanism itself and more about society's tendency to project its anxieties onto a convenient other. For actual Satanists, the Satanic Panic was a dangerous misrepresentation, reinforcing a stereotype of devil-worshipping villains that persists in the public imagination. Perception versus our reality, what Satanism isn't and what it is to many. Satanism conjures images of hooded figures, blood-soaked altars, and pacts with a literal devil, an idea rooted in centuries of Christian polemics that branded heretics and outsiders as devil worshippers. This perception is wildly at odds with the philosophies of the two most prominent satanic organizations today, the Church of Satan and the Satanic Temple. The Church of Satan, founded in 1966 by Anton Szandor LaVey in San Francisco, codified modern Satanism as an atheistic philosophy. For the COS, Satan is not a deity but a symbol of individualism, rebellion against arbitrary authority, and the embrace of human nature, flaws and all. LaVey's Satanic Bible outlines a worldview grounded in rational self-interest, personal empowerment, and skepticism of dogma. Rituals exist, but they're theatrical, psychological tools for self-expression, not supernatural summonings. The COS champions a live and let live ethos, focusing on personal achievement and rejecting altruism unless it serves the individual. The Satanic Temple, established in 2013 by Lucian Greaves and Malcolm Jerry, takes a different tack. Also atheistic, TST uses Satan as a metaphor for resistance against tyranny and blind faith, but it's explicitly activist and progressive. With its 7 tenets emphasizing compassion, reason, and bodily autonomy, TST engages in public campaigns, like advocating for abortion rights or placing Baphomet statues alongside Christian monuments, to challenge theocratic overreach and promote secularism. Unlike the COS, TST is deeply political, viewing Satanism as a tool to confront systemic issues rather than a personal philosophy alone. In short, Satanism isn't about worshiping evil or sacrificing goats. For the COS, it's a celebration of the self. For TST, it's a call to action against oppression. Neither group believes in a literal Satan, debunking the core of the public's fevered imaginings. The beef between COS and TST, a satanic schism. Despite their shared rejection of theistic Satanism, the Church of Satan and the Satanic Temple are locked in a bitter feud that's as ideological as it is personal. The COS dismisses TST as a political activist group masquerading as Satanists, accusing them of diluting the true Satanism LaVey defined. They point to TST's inclusion of non-Satanists in its ranks, its media stunts, and its divergence from LaVeyan principles like social Darwinism and elitism. The COS has even suggested TST's founders lack authenticity, branding them opportunists chasing headlines rather than adherents to a coherent satanic tradition. TST, in turn, sees the COS as irrelevant and stagnant, a relic of the 1960s that fetishizes authoritarianism while ignoring contemporary struggles. Lucian Greaves has critiqued LaVey's doctrines as incompatible with modern understandings of reciprocity and empathy, positioning TST as an evolved, socially engaged alternative. Where the COS retreats from public battles, TST dives in, framing itself as a necessary counterweight to religious encroachment in politics. This rivalry is ironic given the COS's stated ethos. LaVeyan Satanism emphasizes minding one's own business and pursuing personal goals, not policing others' interpretations of Satanism. By fixating on TST, the COS contradicts its own don't care what others do mantra, expending energy on a group it claims doesn't even qualify as satanic. Meanwhile, TST's activism aligns with a broader fight against monotheism's grip on society, a fight the COS opts out of entirely. Monotheism in politics: the real threat and the need for opposition. Today, the influence of monotheistic, particularly Christian ideology in governance, is undeniable. In the US, evangelical movements push for laws restricting abortion, LGBTQ+ rights, and scientific education, often under the guise of religious freedom. Figures like Marjorie Taylor Greene have invoked Satan as a political boogeyman, while states like Oklahoma mandate Bible-based curricula, blurring the line between church and state. This theocratic creep affects everyone, not just Christians, imposing one faith's values on a pluralistic society. The Satanic Temple actively resists this trend, using satire and legal challenges to expose hypocrisy and uphold secularism. Their efforts, like offering ministers of Satan as school chaplains in response to religious inclusion laws, highlight the absurdity of favoring one religion over others. The COS, however, remains apolitical, insisting Satanism is about individual liberty, not collective action. While philosophically consistent, this stance leaves them sidelined as monotheism tightens its hold on public policy. Here's the rub: a strong unified opposition to theocratic overreach could benefit all Satanists and society at large. The COS's disengagement risks dooming us to a future where Christian dogma dictates law, unchecked by groups like TST that are willing to fight. If the COS chilled on its beef with TST, it might not join the fray, but it could at least stop undermining an ally in the broader struggle. After all, monotheism's political dominance threatens the very autonomy the COS holds dear. Conclusion: a call to refocus. Satanism, far from the lurid fantasies of the Satanic Panic, is a diverse movement with the COS and TST offering distinct visions, one introspective, the other confrontational. Their feud, while rooted in genuine differences, distracts from a shared adversary: theocratic encroachment. The COS's obsession with gatekeeping Satanism clashes with its own principles, and its political abstinence leaves a void TST struggles to fill alone. As monotheism increasingly shapes our laws, Satanists, and all who value secular governance, need less infighting and more solidarity. The COS doesn't have to love TST, but it could stand to let them fight the good fight without interference. Our collective freedom might just depend on it. By Scott Young, aka Sinfamous Gamer.